It's an 11 and a 14. NC State continues to stay hot. After winning 5 games in 5 days to win the ACC tournament, they take care of Texas Tech late on Thursday night. They will face the 14th seeded Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Is there a college basketball fan or even more generally a sports fan that didn't see what went down Thursday night as John Calipari choked in the early rounds for the 4th consecutive year, Oakland beating Kentucky? So this is the matchup that probably didn't exist on most brackets, Joe, and here we are. The Wolfpack favored by 5.5. Total sits, at 146.5. And the question is, which red-hot team can stay hotter in this one and punch their ticket to the Sweet 16?
Out of over 1,500 entries, one person took Oakland in Survivor yesterday. One. Like, how do you do that? How do you be like, okay, I'm going to pay my money, and I'm going to take this 14 seed, Oakland. What a phenomenal call. Oh, man. This number, yeah, that fading NC State idea was a bad idea. But this number does seem like, oh, man, how's Oakland going to bounce back? You know, Golke can jump into a microphone and say we're not a Cinderella story all he wants, but they're a damn Cinderella story. I guess based on the results that we had in a couple of games yesterday, a couple of big upsets, all you have to do is announce that you're quitting as a coach and your team's going to win. Like, it was going on with Duquesne. It was going on with Oakland, 40 years there. Man, Oakland, an unreal run. There was a point in the season when they were 6-8. Since then, they are on an 18-3 run. So it's not just recent. And NC State, same thing as well. DJ Burns was fantastic again, 7 for 11 from the field. But I will say that laying 5.5, I don't have a strong opinion on this game. But when I look at him, like, okay, NC State is a 5.5 point favorite to go to the Sweet 16. And maybe that's just because, in part of it, because of the matchup that they have here. But it's tough for me to get there, Aaron.
I think the person in Survivor listened to our Cinderella segment
Probably
about a week ago, and you are very high on Oakland, and here they are.
Ridiculous.
That's what they did. Did they have more than one entry? Or that
I'd have to check.
Okay, I
mean, there's a max of 2.
I like the
but
strategy. Yeah. The strategy is awesome. I love this Oakland team. They're pretty balanced, but you got to go far down in Ken Palm to look at their adjusted offense and defense. NC State ranks quite better, 46 in offense, 77th in defense, where Oakland's 124th and 157th, respectively. I'm going to say Oakland stays hot. They've got the confidence. They've got the 3-point shooting. I think Oakland plus 5.5. I like that bet. I'm going to bet.
Yeah, if you want to get crazy and you believe in Jack Golke, maybe not hitting 10 threes again, but having a good night. And the thing that got me, you mentioned Greg Campy, Joe, the post-game locker room. And it looked like they shoved them in a broom closet at PPG Paints Arena, by the way. Their locker room was like the size of literally like a closet. And there's every single guy. They went into the locker room after the game. And you know how they probably expected to get one of those celebration videos where everybody's jumping up and down and they're spraying water on the coach and all that. Greg Campy's just sitting at one end of the room, legs folded, quietly speaking to the team. And the team is locked in. It was like like a pregame speech. Instead of a post-game, we just beat Kentucky speech. That team's locked in. So, look, I'm gonna go back to Joe from last week, like Aaron mentioned, the Cinderella conversation we had. I'm gonna buy in with that guy and say Oakland right now, money line. It opened at 210. It's still there in 1 or 2 spots. It's down to 195 already at BetMGM.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you want to have some fun Saturday night and you want to lean in on the Cinderella thing, sorry, NC State fans. I know you just got legal sportsbook wagering in your state, and you guys have been pushing the markets all over the place with all of your bets. I wouldn't have a problem just as a fan seeing DJ Turner and the Wolfpack go to the Sweet 16. But an Oakland money line bet for Saturday night just feels like fun. I may fall on my face, and Jack Golke may go 1 of 18 from 3, and they may lose. They may not even cover the 5.5. But you know what? If my bracket's going down in flames, I'm going down in flames with it. I'm going Oakland money line on Saturday night. Let's ride. Friday angles on Survivor, because I'm not quite, I don't want to burn any high seeds, but after a day like yesterday, confidence is waning. So I'm not sure which direction I'm headed, especially if I've got a single entry in Survivor.
Yeah, it's challenging. You have 3 that are like, okay, if I just want to advance, if I just want to take this into the weekend, just to stay alive, that's probably the way I would go. If you're in a large pool, the thing is, after one day, most likely a third of your pool is out between Kentucky and BYU. So
Yeah.
I don't know that you have to get extremely risky with that. But yeah, you want to survive UConn, Purdue, Houston. If you think one of them is not going to say, let's go to the Elite Eight or something like that, you would probably want to take one of those. Now, when you're looking in the mid-range, boy, it's scary because they have the potential to go to the Final Four, but Auburn against Yale feels pretty safe. That's one that I think I would take a look at. Duke against Vermont. Again, we're like in that 9 to 12 point range. Okay. It's worth nothing, but it's funny. I go upstairs. I'm like, oh, let me see what my wife is going to do with her Survivor play. Let's see how everybody's feeling this morning. Oh, it's only 6:30. Like, I'm only on the air like another hour. And I'm like, why isn't everybody up? And I look at the clock. Oh, it's 6:30. That's why nobody's up yet. I think she's going to take Bama going up against Charleston. She was trying to fill me out. I'm like,
pretty safe too.
I'm like, don't ask me. I'm eliminated. Like, I wouldn't take Bama later. I'll say that with Bama. If you're going to take them, I'd probably take them early because it just feels like one of the games the defense is going to get caught. So they're a team that I would prefer to take early on. Like, are they going to hit their threes? Maybe. San Diego State, like, that's a team you're not worried about needing later, right?
Right.
Like, they're probably going to win, but you're not worried. But like I said, I like UAB. It wouldn't shock me if UAB ends up winning that game.
So I think what happens here is you have a Texas A&M team that is tough, that has been here, and this is a Nebraska team. Great story. Haven't really done anything away from home. Their best away from home win is a Kansas State team that did not make the tournament. And I think for a program when you don't have a tournament win, it's hard to get that first one. It really is. Like Boise State the other night, they take the lead. Immediately, everybody looks around and they don't know what the hell to do now. Oh, my God, we have a lead with 4 minutes left. What do we do? What do we do? And then they just lose, comfortably. So I tend to think, like, in these settings, experience and the lack thereof, I weigh so heavily. It's why Tom Izzo is like, Tom Izzo, Mississippi State. I know Tom's not playing the game, but, like, that's why that looks the way it does. Because he's been there. He ain't sweating this. Like, he knows these guys are going to do what they do. We'll see what happens today, but I just weigh experience almost more than anything in the tournament, especially early on, and I think that's why I like Texas A&M today.